A Tulsa man who was told he might not survive after a traumatic brain injury, let alone walk again, is now training for a marathon.
He says taking those first steps was his miracle, and now he's working every day to make sure others like him get their own miracle too. News on 6's Sawyer Bussey shows us something good tonight.
Recovery isn't always a straight path. I guess that's the lesson that rings true about life in general. Things don't always go as planned.
The doctor came into the room and drew on a whiteboard a big circle and then filled it in with a bunch of darkness and said, you know, this is Chris's head, and then this dark area is all the blood, and so I need to relieve the blood.
In March of 2016, Chris Lieberman, an athletic, goal-oriented overachiever who organized big events like the Route 66 Marathon, fell off a ladder and hit his head on the concrete.
They do a series of tests whenever you've hit your head, and they ask you the same questions over and over. I mean, I could see Chris's toes starting to not wiggle and his feet, and you could see the decline.
Doctors had to temporarily remove part of Chris's skull to relieve the swelling in his brain. After weeks in a coma, Chris's life started all over again.
It was amazing to watch his recovery, and it was very similar to watching, an infant. From the very beginning, first he had to learn to breathe on his own and then eat on his own.
His girlfriend, Kim Han, became his full-time caregiver, living in hospital rooms, driving Chris to rehab facilities all over the country, and helping with fundraising to pay for the care he needed. 3 years in, and Chris still needed a wheelchair.
And that's kind of when I started hearing, the words like, Chris isn't getting better, he's not gonna get better, you need to accept it. Like, you need to go back to Tulsa, you need to find Chris a nursing home.
Some days, Chris says the depression made it hard to get out of bed. But Kim says giving up wasn't an option. And then one day, Chris started walking again.
When I got home, I didn't know why I survived. I didn't understand. But once I went to Dallas and had a miracle of a recovery, that's when I had hope again and understood why I survived.
Whoever thought I'd be trying to walk faster?
With those first steps, the Brain Injury Recovery Foundation was born.
It was a miracle that God saved my life. But what can be miraculous is if I build something to help people get their miracles and have the same results I had.
The foundation connects patients with brain and spinal injuries and their families with the resources they need to reach their goals.
We don't feel like you should not pay your mortgage or not eat or not doing something vital because you have medical bills and you need to get better. Like, why is healing only for people with money? Good job.
It's been 4.5 years now since Chris's accident, and he's training for marathons. Every step of every mile raises money for his foundation.
Work on swinging your arms.
Because when life doesn't go the way it's supposed to, the journey becomes a comeback that might be filled with setbacks. Setbacks that might make the comeback feel a lot like a marathon. But Chris and Kim will tell you, this marathon isn't one you have to run alone.
We've always been perfect together as a couple, but we're even closer now and more perfect.
Sawyer Bussey, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.